Okay, there it is, right there, over Highway 49, just to the northeast of Braxton. Couplet not quite as strong as it was a short time ago. Sheer, weak, and a little bit unorganized at this time, but that's what we got, a tornado warning with that cell getting ready to cross over from northern Simpson County into the southern parts of Rankin County. Again, keep in mind, if the tornado sirens are going off in Brandon, Richland, Florence, Castle Woods, the reservoir area, you are not under the threat of any bad weather in the immediate metro area. This is the southern parts of Rankin County, the cell crossing out of northern Simpson County, right near Braxton, crossing Highway 49 and getting ready to move up into southern Rankin County, just to the southwest of Cato in that area. Sheer, weak, but we did have a couplet a short time ago that's prompted the tornado warning, and we saw a little bit of debris associated with that cell right now. I don't know if let me get a little bit closer, see what's left of that right now. Would that be what's left of it there? Let me do a time lapse, so that'll give us a better view of it, because we saw it right over Gum Spring. Yeah, that's it. That's what's left of it. You can see it move slowly off to the north there. So perhaps since this signature is going away, the feature, which we had a quick spin-up tornado in here, is going away. At least that can be the hope. I don't think that would be real data. That's outside of the polygon box, and that wouldn't be in a place where we would expect to see debris associated with that. So that's what we have right now, a tornado warning. It's already getting ready to move out of the northern parts of Simpson County, southern Rankin County, right in this area. We're picking up some rotation, not as strong as it was a short time ago, but there is a little bit of wind feature in here, some broad rotation crossing over into the southern parts of Rankin County right now. So heads up, but always like to let you know, tornado sirens are sounding in a lot of places where we don't have anything going on right now. All right, let's go over to Kristana. She's got another look at what's going on with this cell. We continue to watch other cells. This is our only tornado warning. We still have some activity coming out of the southwestern parts of Mississippi. Let me just show you this. We do have severe thunderstorm warning. There could be some damaging wind gusts in that line. Let me put that up quickly, see if we see a whole lot of wind picking up. Nope, we don't, so that's good. But certainly with that, there could be some straight line winds in this line. And the activity where we had some tornado warnings, not as strong, but Kristana, that cell up there coming into southern Rankin County came up all of a sudden, and it looks like it's weakening all of a sudden.
I mean, that's what we talk about whenever we have those quick spin-ups. They drop down, they lift back up. We were talking about, we saw the rotation, they issued that warning, and then with a matter of a couple of seconds, we saw that debris ball on our debris tracker. So that was a confirmed tornado warning. We'll get a glimpse of that again in just a second. However, I am monitoring another cell. This is now in North Jefferson Davis County. This is going to lift north, I believe, into Simpson County. So this is another heads up. We're starting to see a little bit more lightning over towards Boggin, just east of New Hebron along Highway 13, excuse me. There is not a tornado warning on this as of right now. However, there is some broad rotation that we are trying to pick up, and it actually is timed a little bit just south of Gwenville over the past couple of scans. So we'll watch this over the next couple of scans even then, and if this holds together, I wouldn't be shocked if there's going to be a tornado warning issued with this. So again, right now, if you're in Boggin, even up towards McGee area, just along the Jefferson Davis Simpson County lines, you need to be really aware of this one storm. Again, this is not a tornado warning storm as of right now. However, we have a couplet just towards the southeast of New Hebron, south of Gwenville. I think what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to step out, I'm going to zoom out, and we're going to talk about some downhill areas over into Simpson County. So up the northern part of your screen, you can actually see that tornado warning up in Gum Springs, but here's that area of circulation just right along Highway 13. And if I'm tracking this is making more so of a northeasterly path. So I would honestly say from Boggin along Highway 13, this is going to be your main area of concern right now. Again, this is not a warning at this time. However, if this circulation holds on, I won't be shocked if there's going to be a tornado warning in the next couple of minutes being issued for Simpson County. So coast from Sanatorium to McGee, Coates, over towards Janesville and Boggin. You need to have a heads up with this storm. All right, let's zoom on out here a little bit more and let's track what we're dealing with right now when it comes to that one tornado warning. So this is the area of concern that we're really looking at with any possible developing circulation and tornado warnings. The line itself is back off towards the west. This has not really been impressive, which is good news to see because we're now just focusing on this one section at this time. Yes, there's a little bit of some Boeing segment, almost looks like, now into parts of southern Jefferson and Franklin County. I think that's just heavy rain and wind. One of the reasons why they have that severe thunderstorm warning issued for the western part of Lincoln as well as Copiah County. But up there's that new tornado warning that's been issued, David. So the one in Jefferson Davis
has cycled back up. That's the one we were tracking coming up out of Walthall County. It has cycled back up, tornado warning with that, so we'll get to that in a second. I did want to show you, speaking of that cell, what we were tracking earlier, there has been a report here in eastern parts of Lawrence County of some shingles off of a barn and 80% of the roof off. This is Givens Mullins Road area. So that was that cell in eastern parts of Lawrence County just a short time ago. Had some stuff happen with that as it moved into that area. All right, let's move back up here now and see what's going on. Here is our new tornado warning. And Kristana, could you check the speed on that for me? It looks like this cell might be moving just a little bit faster than the other cells that we were tracking. 35. Yeah, about 35, maybe even as high as 40 miles per hour. So 2 tornado warnings right now, one in southern Rankin County, just to the west of Cato. And then we have this other cell right here. And, you know, if you look closely, you can kind of see the structure right in there where my finger is. And I'll get a little bit closer. I just want to give you the wide view of what's going on right now. And a lot of these are quick spin-ups. They're not triggering a lot of our features when we have stronger cells and tornadoes. So that is a good thing, but certainly do have some rotation there. All right, here's velocity. And I'll take this storm, and we'll let Kristana give us an update on that storm. Notice the northern parts of Simpson County near Braxton not in the warning with that cell. But it does look like the warning ring has come up on this cell and just updated as I was getting ready to zoom into this area. That's Shivers Bogdan Road. We've actually ridden bikes down there about a year ago. We were riding down towards Hattiesburg, and right here's Highway 13. So Gwynville, Boggin, Highway 13, circulation crossing Highway 13 right now. So this is New Hebron, just to give you an idea, perspective where we are. We're coming out of northern parts of Jefferson Davis County, and Scott is in the tornado warning as well. We got parts of Simpson County in the tornado warning as well. So the tornado warning polygon is a little larger than the other ones that we have been dealing with this evening because it is moving a little bit faster. But just a great view of that storm right in that area. Looks like the warning ring has gone off. You know, that's, you know, we cycle in a lot of data and get updates. So it was there for one scan. And again, we've been dealing with some quick spin-ups as we deal with these storms. Let me just click right on that right there and give you, just throw up some areas so you can see where this is heading. Right over Bogdan now. We were talking about that. See, when we do severe weather, sometimes we see communities that I just don't recall seeing. And here's one, cyclone. And we got a tornado warning for your area. Merritt, Sanatorium, Weathersby, Zion Hill, Mendenhall, maybe in about 20 minutes. D-Low, 25 minutes. And then Fayette Hill and Martinville, you're on that. Moving to the northeast, and we're tracking it. There you can see it at about 31 miles per hour right now, moving off to the northeast with time as it continues to move, as I said, at about 35 miles per hour. All right, there it is. Still have that circulation. So if you're upwind here, here's Weathersby. These are the places we just had on the map. There's a cyclone. I think as that moves off to the northeast, really would be more in a direct line towards the Weathersby community right there on Highway 49. Now, McGee, you are in the tornado polygon, but the circulation itself is very likely to pass off to your northwest with this current track. But right in that area, this is where we're looking at a circulation spin right now. Match up the velocity coming right into that area. Let's double check the shear, see how that's going right now. We'll still have some higher readings of shear in there, so certainly something going on in that area. Let's go to the CC, and right now we're looking at uniform colors. We don't see a dropout, so we're mostly rain with this cell, nothing else being picked up by the radar at this time. All right, let's go back just quickly now. We got this other tornado-warned cell, and I'm really not seeing too much as far as the winds with that. Let's put the reflectivity up, and it really looks like it's the further north that it's gone, it's run into that big area of heavy rain, so perhaps we're just more or less looking at some gusty winds right in here. There may be a hint of some very weak rotation, but the key word would be weak rotation. Here's Bill Hubbard Road, so it would be in the vicinity of that. Here's Cato Road over here, Cato, Wade Patrick Road, which runs down south of Shell Oil Road and heads down towards Cato. So again, there still could be some weak circulation in here, certainly not picking up what we saw a little while ago where we saw a debris signature. We don't see that. Looks pretty uniform in that right now. And the shear has weakened significantly. There is almost no shear left with that cell as well. So tracking that. All right, let's go back out here now and look at this other cell coming in from the south, coming close to Boggin a short time ago. Looks like it's now off to the northeast of the Boggin community and just to the west of Cyclone. Let's double check and see how our velocity, see if we still have, well, it looks like we still do have circulation here, but certainly more of a broad type pattern. And when I say broad, it means that we don't have a concentrated area of circulation, more or less just a broad area of rotation, so probably not a tornado on the ground right now. The shear is not as strong as it was a short time ago. Let me put that in motion for you. And you can see how a short time ago when I was talking about that, we had some reds on it, we had the warning ring, and now it has come down a little bit. But still, yeah, there's certainly still a little bit of rotation in that, and the tornado warning has to continue until we get rid of that rotation with the cell. Now the cell further to the north up in southern Rankin County, really not seeing any significant rotation with that as well. All right, let's go back over to Christina. She's looking at that debris signature we had a short time ago.
This is actually the one over towards Boggin. I'm wondering if this is something
okay, that's a new one.
This is brand new. That
well, we may
just
see an
came
upgrade
in.
to confirmed on that.
Yep, so they just upgraded this to confirm. I'm wondering if this debris tracker may be delayed by maybe a couple of scans from what the circulation was.
There's usually a delay in the CC because it has to ingest so much data.
Yeah, and I think that's what's happening and what we're seeing on here right now, because if we look at Boggin, there's that debris signature. It's very tiny. I'm going to zoom in on here for real quick, but pretty much, and here's a little lesson. Whenever we're looking at debris tracker, if we see something that's pink or red, that's typically rain. So it's something that's very uniform. Whenever something is not uniform, we see the yellows, the oranges, the greens, the blues develop. And that's what we're seeing just north of Boggin. So this is a confirmed tornado that either is or was on the ground and has lifted. We're going to put a loop on this in just a second. But if you live in Cyclone, Zion Hill, Sanatorium, just east of Merritt, you need to make sure you're getting into your safe place right now. This is going to be crossing right along US or Highway 149, just towards the east of Highway 13. So again, this is a confirmed tornado warning with the debris signature picking up on our debris tracker right now, just towards the north of Boggin. So let me back out here real quick, and then I will pull up what we are seeing. with this one tornado warning. So we had that tornado warning ring just around the Greenville area, and that has now clipped Gwenville, so no longer in effect for a tornado warning in Gwenville. We did have that center of circulation right on top of Boggin and the heavy rain along Highway 13. So there's that circulation again right on top of Boggin. That has cut New Hebron out of that tornado warning. But this is looking to be downstream from Everett to Puckett, Mendenhall. You are included in this tornado warning as well. With the track of it, I think Mendenhall may go just towards the west, or this may go just towards the east of Mendenhall, but you are included in that tornado warning at this time. So here's the latest when it comes to certain communities. So we're talking about Sanatorium in the next 8 minutes, Zion Hill, 11, Mendenhall, again, you are included in that tornado warning and coming into your region within the next next 12 minutes. Martinville 17, Everett 21, Galilee 26, Puckett 28, Gunn 31, and Heater 32. So this does give you a little bit more time if you're in the Johns, Puckett, and Burns communities, but this is your heads up right now. If the sirens are going off outside, if you are in parts of Simpson County or the far southeastern part of Rankin County, you need to be getting into your safe place right now. Again, this is a confirmed tornado. The center of circulation has tightened over the past little bit. Again, it's kind of like a living, breathing organism. Can't say that phrase in a way, to where you have that circulation closing on itself, gets tighter, and then it broadens on out, and then it gets tighter again. And that's what we've been seeing when it comes to these type of thunderstorms and these stronger supercells this evening. Now, on this debris tracker, it's not really picking up. It may try to pop up a little bit right in between Cyclone and Boggin, but it hasn't really been that considerable. I'm gonna take a step out real quick and see if we can pop it up on the current one, and then we'll send things back over to David. So yeah, it looks like it may have just been a quick touchdown and back up. If we backtrack it here, 8:22, we're not seeing anything pick up, and then 8:25, there's the debris ball, and then we fast forward again, 8:30, nothing there.
Well, that's been the MO with all the cells this evening, just quick spin-ups. All right, let me give you just a recap for all the folks that are outside of our tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warning areas. I think this is useful information to everybody currently watching right now. Let me just turn the warnings off a second, and then I'm going to just pop them back on for you. All right. Tornado watch does continue for the entire viewing area until 11 o'clock. And as we've been talking about, the one area we were concerned was southeast of the immediate Jackson metro area on this leading edge of storms, and that continues to be the case as we just had two. You know, Christina, they had there was a Weather Service official down there near Braxton, and that was an observed tornado as well. But it's that sense has weakened significantly in southern Rankin County. And again, I remind folks, as I was just checking my text message, friends saying they're up in the reservoir and the sirens are going off. The threat of a tornado in Rankin County is far south Rankin County, down near Cato and Johns, and that cell looks like it has weakened. So maybe we'll see that tornado warning canceled, but they continue to sound the sirens county-wide. And we do have that cell which had the dropout, looked like a little debris signature, which is coming up through, that was, I think the location was pretty close to Sanatorium there, and that's now moving across parts of Simpson County, and that tornado warning also does clip far southeastern Rankin County, close to Puckett. So tornado sirens continue to be sounding up in Rankin County. So that's the area of severe thunderstorms, and we still continue to watch this line, and it looks like we have a Boeing segment. Watch it. It looks like it takes the shape of a bow and arrow right there. So there's a severe thunderstorm warning for that, for damaging winds. Now, further to the north, we have some very heavy rains coming into western Holmes County, Chula, western parts of Yazoo County, coming out of our Delta counties, Sharkey, Issaquena counties right now. And as that moves to the east, it looks like a very minimal severe weather threat with that. I don't think there's any severe weather threat back here. The tornado watch has been canceled for the parishes in Louisiana, and the threat, I think, over the next hour will be over for the Mississippi River counties, probably in less than an hour for our Mississippi River counties. But this line will continue to chug off to the east, and I think the risk with the second line is higher, say from Crystal Springs, Hazelhurst, southward down towards Brookhaven and Macomb. Just a severe thunderstorm warning right now, and we're just looking at straight line winds associated with that. So let me just turn the winds on here right now. Let me just turn the warnings off. You can kind of see what's going on, and I'm going to just take you through parts there. Let me just start with the back edge here where we just have heavy rain falling. And here's reflectivity, big area of heavy rain. And when we look at the velocity, we don't see any hint of any kind of rotation, and we just see straight lines in that area. So this is all gusty winds associated in this area of heavy rain. And then we move further to the south. There's Vicksburg. There's no hint of any kind of rotation. And we're still in an area of very heavy rain. And the severe threat looks extremely minimal in this area. Now you get a little bit further to the south where we have that line of storms coming through. And I'll turn the severe thunderstorm warning back on so you can see that. Here is the severe thunderstorm warning. Now it is in this area where we have some straight line winds and some broad weak rotation that we're watching right here. Now here's Hazelhurst, so perhaps coming into southwest Copiah County, a little area to watch right there. We'll see, check the shear, turn the, let me just turn the stop it and go to shear here. There's just very weak shear. So again, damaging winds, the primary threat there, but maybe something trying to do some broad rotation in there. Again, this is embedded in a line, so this would be something that would just be a quick spin up within the line. So here we would look for a notch or a bump to develop along that line. Again, this would be, then this is charging pretty much to the east, maybe a little bit northeast of movement, but this would stay to the south of the metro area. So that is the severe threat area. And then we go further off to the east here, and let me turn the velocities back on. And here is that area that we've been watching. I'll get a little bit closer. And even now, notice the straight feature here. There is broad rotation because we have the red and the green touching each other, but you don't have a tight compact. Watch it again. Look at that rotation. Let me get up a little bit here. And see that tight rotation, and now it would be a little bit more broad. So you go from a tight couplet where we had a tornado warning issued, and in that tight couplet, we saw the debris signature pop up for a scan or two. And now that rotation, when I say broad, maybe has stretched out. It's over a more distance. It's not concentrated. So I'd say right now it's probably not likely that there is a tornado on the ground associated with that warning. That's the way it looks right now in just looking at the radar data that's in the area right now. So that's, just interesting when we're on here and we track all these different features and we look at them. And it looks like, they've updated the tornado polygon and they've just gone back to the red polygon, so it's no longer confirmed. And we certainly can see that as we were just discussing. When I say they, the National Weather Service, they're the one who issues the warnings. Is that a little thunder here at the station? That's the first time we've heard thunder in a while. But even though, it's not confirmed anymore, there's still a hint in this broad rotation, and maybe something in Weathersby. So it's possible, you got to keep the warning going in this case, as it did produce a tornado, and we'll see if it continues to weaken, but it could cycle back up and do something again. So there's the tornado warning associated with that cell right now. In effect until 9:15, we'll see if it lasts that long and does continue. Certainly of concern that it did produce a tornado, but it's certainly good news that the rotation is a lot more broad than it was a short time ago. Now, as far as that other tornado warning, let me put the radar in motion. That has popped up and that has canceled. So that tornado warning no longer in effect, but it's still certainly possible that the tornado sirens are still being sounded in some of these areas. And if you're not in the tornado polygon, which is down towards Puckett in southeastern Rankin County, you don't have anything to concern if you're closer to the immediate Jackson metro area up towards Brandon, Pelahatchie, and these areas. So what we continue to deal with is these quick little spin-ups in this line of storms that continues to move off towards the northeast. It is on schedule as far as how we were expecting the severe weather to evolve. So we still have this front line where we're concerned about things, and then the second line concerned about things. Now, before I throw it back over to Kristana, notice down here in Louisiana, we don't have any warnings coming out of there. Let me just switch over to the Slidell, New Orleans radar quickly and just do a quick analysis of what those storms are doing down there, see if there's any immediate concern. Now that leading line has moved a little bit further to the east, and none of these cells look threatening at this time that would move up into Mississippi, so that's good news. And really and truly, when you look back at these cells coming into a Gloucester area, looks like some straight line winds. We'll watch for the bends and curves and see if anything can develop on that. Let me just turn the velocity on with that, and don't really see too much to be concerned in that area right now. All right, we still got that one tornado warning, and that is headed up. The rotation is broader. Here's an update with Kristana on that.
One tornado warning. We're also talking about the northern part of that little Boeing segment David just talked about. We have heavy rain and probably some stronger gusts now making its way right along the Copiah County line, just towards, right on it actually, from the Claiborne, Jefferson, and Copiah County lines. We also have that heavy rain. I am watching that one little kink in the line over towards and just south of Butte as well. Not really picking up any rotation with it at this time, but whenever we see that little Boeing and then it comes in almost like a backwards 3 in a way, that's something that we're going to be watching carefully. Now, this one patch with more lightning in the southeastern part of Claiborne County, this is now moving into the far southwestern part of Copiah County. There's been a little bit of rotation. It's really not that impressive at this time, but again, it's something that we're watching. Whenever we have that gust and that extra push of wind, it may just push a little bit farther to the north and the south, and then that's what may kind of help gather that a little bit of a spin up, when it, not necessarily a drop down tornado, but when I mean spin up, I talk more about that broad area of rotation. So this is just south of Burnell, west of Allen, right along Highway 28 and just towards the south and west of Barlow. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. This is not a tornado warning, but there is a little bit of some very broad rotation. So that's something we're going to monitor over the next little bit. Again, that one tornado warning up into Rankin County, just north of Braxton, has been canceled. That rotation, nothing right now, which is really good to see. But we are still monitoring this one tornado warning. It has looked like it has clipped out Boggin, so Boggin is no longer in this tornado warning. Cyclone in Sanatorium right on the line of it. And as we continue to watch where that area of circulation tracked, it's broadened on out significantly in the past 5 minutes or so. We had that tight circulation and that debris ball that picked up for a very brief period of time over in Boggin. That's continuing to move towards the north and east, close to Zion Hill. Again, that rotation is just not very impressive with this. There is some intermingling between the greens and the reds, which is what we want to look at when it comes to rotation. But again, it's just not very impressive. They're still going to have this tornado warning in effect again until 9:15. So this does include Everett, Puckett, Mendenhall. You are still included in this. Again, I think that circulation is going to go just towards the east of you, but hold on tight for the next few minutes as that center of circulation passes over Zion Hill and along Highway 49. Sanatorium, I think you should be good to go, honestly, in the next about 5 to 10 minutes. So again, stay in your safe place for a few more minutes as this area of circulation does trend to the north and east. If you live in Puckett, Heater, Traxler, over towards Everett, you're not in the clear just yet, so you're going to want to stay in your safe place at this time. They did issue this as a confirmed tornado warning down towards Boggin. This is now radar indicated, meaning we saw that lift, or that confirmed tornado lift back up, and it's either weakening, which is what we've been seeing, but if we continue to watch the scan over the next little bit, if those reds and greens continue to kind of circulate around each other, we may need to be looking at this a little bit closer with some regeneration, David.
All right, again, this is what's going on tonight. We got this upper level storm system, and look at it come at us. And now swinging through, and we're beginning to see that axis begin to move right across the area, and it'll be moving to the north of the area very quickly. You can see the activity, the thunderstorms develop across our area. These are colder cloud tops right over Mississippi right now. And you look to the back here in western half of Louisiana, the clouds are not nearly as threatening, so we continue to make some really steady progress, and I think the worst of this going to be over probably sooner rather than later. I don't think it's going to linger well into the night. Let me put up Storm Shield 16 3D just for a second here, talk more about that storm that we had a short time ago, and you can see these are reports where we had some storm damage from a tornado. Had the one spotted south of Braxton. That warning has expired, and you look at it's very possible this warning will be canceled very shortly as well. There's no real significant rotation, certainly at the surface. I was looking at some of the higher levels, maybe some still broad rotation. So still watching this storm system, but it is not an immediate threat. Very messy look on radar if you've been watching through the course of the evening, and how we talk about storms and where we can see the curvature, rotation, inflow, and all that kind of stuff. We don't see any of that with that cell right now. So certainly a less threatening situation over Mendenhall and Puckett right now, and up towards Polkville. Just doesn't look too threatening right now. So we'll continue to monitor that and see if that does get canceled early. Hopefully it will. All right, let's go back over to my maps and look how it is all cleared out to the west as far as rain. Tornado watches are coming down on the back side of that now into the, right up to the Mississippi River. Tornado watches are canceled, and I think over the next hour we'll probably see some of our Mississippi River counties cleared from tornado watches. So here are the current warnings. Severe thunderstorm warning with that line coming into southwest Mississippi. And keep an eye on those strong winds coming into Hazelhurst and Brookhaven very shortly. And as Kristana was pointing out, the tornado warning no longer observed or confirmed with that. So we go back to the red polygon. Tornado warning does continue. We're monitoring the rotation, but not seeing anything significant. So hopefully, like the other storm that moved into southern Rankin County, it's moving into a much more stable rain stratified atmosphere, so hopefully that will continue the weakening trend as well. But certainly on the big picture, if you watch the back edge, you can see the back edge of the rain making that eastward progress. So we just really have these two areas of concern. The first here, and then the second really rapidly approaching I-55 right now. It's certainly not official because the tornado watches do continue, but this line here, that probably ends with the passage of that line, that ends the severe threat for the evening. So I'm talking about Fayette, Natchez. It's past you. It's still going to rain for a little bit, but the threat of severe storms has passed. Now, look here, as this moves along, you see the bowing part and then a little indentation back on the southern tail end of that. That is a part of that line of storms to keep an eye on. If it's going to develop any kind of rotation, it would do so on the southern part of that. So right now I'm looking at areas eastern Franklin County, just to the west of Brookhaven, and that'll be moving into Lincoln County very shortly. Further to the north up here in Copiah County, west of Crystal Springs and Hazelhurst, that looks like straight lines. But that's just an area to watch. Severe thunderstorm warning with that. Just something to keep an eye on here as it heads on to the east. Now charging into the metro area. Close-up view. It is pouring up in Yazoo County, Yazoo City, Satarsha, further north Durant, Chula in Holmes County. It is raining hard. Out towards Raymond, big downpour, gully washer out there. Coming into Utica, a gully washer as well. And these are moving to the east and northeast, so some very heavy rainfall will be coming into the Jackson area. So I see it's about 8:48. So I'd say by 10 o'clock, this heavier rain will begin to shift to the east side of the metro area. And in these areas, the threat of any kind of a severe storm is low. It would probably be a severe thunderstorm warning. Still watch it. Never know. But right now, not too concerned with all the activity and the heavier rain. Boy, I'll tell you, it'd be good if that just went through. But there's a great look at that southern tail end, and there's that part in eastern Franklin County I was talking about, east of Boot, that, we'll just keep an eye on that, see if it can try to develop any kind of rotation. This cell will be impacting Brookhaven, Wesson, and these areas within the next 30 minutes. Here is the radar forecast now, and pretty good representation. The forecast has been good. Look at this, Kristana, by 11 o'clock. Now it has really picked up the pace of the heavier rain and storms, shoving it off to the east. Earlier indications were that some of this heavier rain would still be over the Jackson metro area at 10. Now it looks like it'll be to the east of the Jackson area by 10. We may even see a really ramped down severe weather threat in about an hour's time.
Really good news to hear too, David. It's nice to see whenever we see things on track, and then as these storms evolve, hey, they're speeding up a little bit, may get out of here sooner, which is really good. I know some people who don't really like the storms, don't really want to go to sleep until they know they're in the clear, so we should be within the next 2 hours or so start saying, hey, certain communities in the clear Mississippi River counties, I mean, you're getting close to it, if not clearing on out right now when it comes to the severe threat itself. The rain is still going to linger on for the next little bit. I want to pull you back to that tornado warned storm that we've been watching. That center of circulation is just not healthy at all over towards Weathersby, which is good to see. It's been just dissolving over the past couple of scans. Now, that broad rotation is going to continue to trend towards the north. Everett, Galilee, Puckett, Fayetteville, over towards Mendenhall. You guys are still included in this tornado warning, and it has not expired just yet. They're not canceling it at this time. However, it is good to see that center of circulation is very broad, so we'll continue to monitor that. I did track over towards that little Boeing segment, the little kink that we have in that backwards 3 just east of Butte, not really picking up any circulation at this time, which is good to see with it as well. That one storm we tracked earlier just towards the west of Crystal Springs, not really looking at any circulation. So we are starting to see some improving conditions. However, we are looking at an increased flash flood threat from Lawrence County down towards South Mississippi as well. Real quick, we'll push into the metro, and then I'll show you how much rain that we've been seeing. Over the metro, I mean, we're starting to get some heavy rain picking on up in Rankin and Hinds County. Rainfall totals now measuring over 3 inches right on the Pike-Walthall County line, almost 3 inches in Lawrence County as well. So we now have flash flood warnings in effect. This includes Lawrence County, Eastern and Mid, Pike, and Western Walthall counties. As these storms move on through, we mentioned it earlier when we last tracked these rainfall totals. This is the first batch of very heavy rain that this area has seen. We still have that heavy rain over into Franklin County. That's going to be moving eastward as well. So we're going to be seeing additional totals. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if we see 1 or 2 isolated locations in these areas right along Pike-Walthall County line up into Lawrence County where it gets close to 4 inches. The flash flood threat was minimal, not completely out of the question. We had very saturated soils from the past several rounds of rain. Even with the sunshine that we have seen, it takes some time for when you have that much rain to eventually dry out the ground. It's not completely there yet. Before these storms rolled on through, I checked my grass the day before I came back into work, and it was still a little bit on the squishy side. So we're having some more rain moving on through. Again, right now, we have about 1.5 inches of rain being measured down in South Rankin County, 2 to 3 inches from Lawrence to Pike and Walthall County. Real quick, let's get that broad view of what all is going on. You have that back edge of that boundary that's now starting to move across the Mississippi River with the heavy rain right over into, I believe, Franklin County as well. Let me backtrack this real quick. And let's put on in the clear section. Let's talk about communities that we're starting to see clear on out. So again, we have heavy rain along the Mississippi River. However, we are still starting to see that severe threat subside for these counties. That includes up towards Issaquena County, all the way down towards Wilkinson. I will say Wilkinson County has the most power outages right now, over 700 customers in the dark. I've checked a couple of other communities like Holmes County down towards Lawrence County, about 30, 40 customers in the dark right now, but not a considerable amount like what we saw in Wilkinson County. And I think what did that was when we had that extra push of wind with that severe thunderstorm warning earlier on this evening, that's what knocked a couple of customers to be without powered. Now, along I-55 corridor, originally we had this at 10 o'clock because now we're starting to see where that main line is kind of subsiding in that severe threat, and the big threat right now is pretty much right along I-55 eastward at this time, and that one boundary over into Franklin County. I think by 10 o'clock, many of the communities along I-55 will start to see that severe threat clear on out. We have that threat in our eastern counties up until midnight, but if this trend continues to move east, I mean, we could see some of these communities off to our eastern counties from Kosciuszko all the way down to Tylertown, to where you could be in the clear before midnight, which I know for some people who do not like storms, this is good for you because you're going to get a little extra sleep tonight as well. All right, let's backtrack this real quick. Let's get a broad picture of what all's going on, and then let's zoom on in on a couple of communities, what we are seeing this evening. So here's the broad picture across central Mississippi at this time. We have heavy rain continuing to move across the region right now. We still have that one tornado warning in effect until 9:15. The rotation with that one tornado warning storm is very, very weak, if any, at this time. And it does look like they just continue to clip off parts of Simpson County. So this is slowly trending to more of a very far southeastern Rankin County cell. Heavy rain and thunderstorm activity now making its way into Crystal Springs to get a little bit of that extra Boeing segment. So that is providing some heavy rain and some strong gusts with this, as well as frequent lightning. But I mean, it looks like areas in and north of the metro, you've just been seeing on and off heavy rain, couple of thunderstorms and flashes of lightning. But down in South Mississippi, not completely done yet, but we're starting to see some improvements. David.
All right, yep, here's what's going on. And you see we got that report near Braxton, one down in eastern parts of Lawrence County, a tornado report down there as well. A lot still on radar right now, and let me just put it in motion for you. See how things are moving. Some very heavy rainfall. I just checked the rain gauge at the house, and I'm up to 2/3 of an inch of rain, which is not welcome in my yard because Christina was talking about her yard being spongy. And yes, this time of the year, that low sun angle, the yard just does not dry up fast. And here we have another big batch of rain. And there you can see the wind surging eastward. There's not a warning associated with this line, but see that activity up here in closer to Utica in the southwestern Hinds County. That's a strong storm. Looks like it's below severe limits there right now. I don't anticipate a warning, but of note again is to keep track on the back edge of this red area showing up on our radar returns, because I think that really more or less ends the severe threat with the passage of that. And you're looking at it right there. I'll stop the radar so you can see. I know what I'm looking at, but I need to point out to you right there. That's really the back edge of where that red area is on the radar, and to the west of that line, to the back, Mississippi River counties, I just don't think there is a severe threat. I think it's over. This is all really uniform, stratiform type rain. These are the areas that we continue to watch. Now that tornado warning does continue, a pretty good confidence, at least at this moment as we talk about it. There is not a tornado on the ground with that cell. That lifted up a while ago. But there's certainly, and it looked like there might be something right near Martinville, very, very, very weak, but still enough of a couplet right in that area. It was near Martinville a short time ago, and I'm looking hard, really, to see any kind of circulation. This tornado warning is in effect until 9:15. I suspect if this trend continues, in fact, let me circle some things here, and then we'll go back to radar. This is how we do a little analysis while we're on the air, a little something right in that area, and then you really see that stretch of wind right there, and then you will put the reflectivity on. So, and there is an update. So you got some really torrential rains. This is frog strangling rain coming into southeastern Rankin County, northern Copiah County right now. Not a whole lot of lightning. There has not been a lot of lightning associated with these storms coming through. There's been some, but not a whole lot. I know a corgi in my house that is happy that there has not been a lot of thunder and lightning with these cells. But yeah, we'll just still monitoring this. There's some wind there. It produced a tornado, and as we've seen through the course of the evening, and it's not only this evening, typically when a cell has produced a tornado, typically if there's still any kind of wind in the vicinity of that, we do continue the tornado warning pretty much till expiration, unless it just totally falls apart like that other cell that moved through Brandon. But since there's still a tornado warning in effect for at least a part of southern sections of southeastern Rankin County, and it kind of clicks over here into the northwestern parts of Smith County, a lot of these counties, no matter where the cell is, do sound the tornado sirens no matter where the storm center is. So just know where you are. Observe where the polygon is. That's where the sirens matter. Puckett, Johns, Rufus, Daniel, close to Polkville. That's where that storm is headed. Still a nasty looking storm, but we certainly don't see the circulation that we did a short time ago. And we look at the shear associated with that, and it is still there, but it's more elongated, which tells me when you compare that to the wind feature there, that's more of a gust of wind in that area. And let me kind of put that in motion. We'll see if we see more of a push of wind associated with that as the cell is lifting up, the rain is lifting up to the north. See the rain moving to the north and just a little push of wind. Now further to the west into the metro area, let's talk about this. We continue with heavy rain, and you do notice in the band of red, the higher reflectivity where the rainfall is heavier, there are some occasional lightning strikes back up in this area. So Bolton, Raymond, Edwards, we've heard, I think, one thunderclap here at the station during the course of the evening with all these storms, primarily off to the southeast. And you can see there's still some really significant returns down there towards Puckett. So it is raining very heavily over there right now. Now, the heavy rains coming into Bolton and Edwards and has already passed Utica. As I said, it really does appear that once this big line of downpours and thunderstorms moves through, the severe weather threat goes down significantly, if not over, in its entirety. And so far, through the course of the evening in our area, we've had these two recent reports in parts of Simpson County near Braxton, and then one just outside of McGee. And then earlier, we had a report, you can see the little tornado icon right there, in eastern Lawrence County, where we had some shingles ripped off of a barn. I believe it was associated with that cell that moved through. And all this activity in the eastern parts of the viewing area came out of Louisiana, where things have quieted down significantly. Now here more looking at more of a large area of rain falling across the southeastern parts of Louisiana. So good news, good trends that we're seeing. And really, I think before 10 o'clock, so that's in about 1 hour's time, this area of heavy rain maybe as far east as Forest, Raleigh, and just to the east of McGee, meaning west of that line, the threat of severe weather would have dropped off significantly. So everybody still in the viewing area has a tornado watch, but I think areas along the river, Natchez, Port Gibson, up into Vicksburg, I'll include Vicksburg into that, and maybe even our Delta counties, the threat of really a tornado has just about ended for those areas. All right, Kristana, we're talking tornado watch. I see your map, but I'm thinking a lot of those river counties are out of the threat now.
Yeah, they still have Claiborne and Jefferson counties in that tornado watch. However, I agree with you, David. I think you guys, it's safe to say Jefferson, Claiborne County right now, that severe threat is pretty much done with. We have some counties that have canceled their tornado watch. This includes right now Adams County, Warren, Issaquena, Sharkey, and I believe Humphreys counties as well. all saying you are in the clear of that tornado watch. Now again, Jefferson, Claiborne, you're still included in it as of right now, but I mean, you're pretty much right along the rest of the Mississippi River counties with you. So you're joining your teammates right there when it comes to being in the clear. Now some more good news, that tornado warning storm that's over in southeast Rankin County right now, that rotation is very little, if very broad or nothing at this time, meaning they're not expecting to, and we are not expecting to extend that tornado warning downstream. Things are kind of calming down a little bit right now. We still have some gusty winds out there, heavy rain. We have flash flooding. I'm going to step out of the picture real quick because we do have a new report down in Pike County when it comes to, let me find it real quick. Give me 2 seconds. There it is, over in Pike County, Sheriff's Office reporting trees down on Irene Road and Hood Road. So we mentioned this earlier, and I'm gonna pull up the flash flood boxes and the rainfall totals real quick, and then we'll do another recap. We mentioned this earlier, literally probably about 10 minutes ago, where the ground's been saturated over round after round after round of rain. Yes, we know the sunshine does help things out, but the sun is not super high in the sky at that time because we are still in the wintertime. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. So it takes a couple of days of dry conditions and sunshine to get the ground that is very saturated to dry on out. I can bet pretty much everybody's backyards and even front yards before this rain arrived was a little bit on the squishy side, and this is not helping it whatsoever. Down in South Mississippi, they have seen anywhere between 2 to 3, almost 3.5 inches. And so whenever you have a very saturated ground and you have that push of wind, if it's just enough, you may end up having a couple of trees down. Again, did not expect anything to be widespread when it comes to any damages or trees down, but we are getting tree damage report down in South Mississippi in Pike County over on Irene Road with a couple of trees down. Again, I think that was more so of a push of wind. So those rainfall totals at this time, just under 2 inches right along the Simpson-Rankin County line, almost 3 inches of rain being measured now north and east of Butte, almost 2 inches in Natchez. And again, Pike, Walthall County, as well as the Mitt and Lawrence counties, you guys are in that flash flood warning. That rain chance is not done yet, even though we are starting to see things clear on out. So again, our Mississippi River counties are clearing on out. Areas along I-55 clearing out probably by around 10 o'clock. And then our easternmost counties before midnight, it looks like this thing could get out of here, David.
I see you bump those times up by an hour. I like that. Moving along. You know, our map is starting to fill up with our green polygons now, and Kristana was just talking about the flash flooding and the rainfall totals in some spots coming up to 2 and 3 inches. Let me just let you, we still have that tornado warning coming up into southern Rankin County, which I think is going to be expiring here in less than 10 minutes. So if we get to the time where that's canceled, we will throw back to ABC programming, and then our MeTV viewers will see the news. So that would be coming up by 9:15, as long as we don't get any additional warnings, or at least that it looks like something is going to come up. And, you know, right now it really doesn't. The large area of heavy rain is taking over, and that's why we're seeing all the flash flood warnings. The severe thunderstorm warnings with that line have been allowed to expire and have not been reissued at this time. And right now there seems to be no reason for them to expire. So it really looks like the window of opportunity that we had for the storms to fire up, become severe, and try to rotate is passing. And that is good news. We're just really seeing a large area of heavy rain taking over. We're still on guard for anything over our eastern counties that might fire up. Let me turn the little storm reports off. But it really just looks like a soaking rain and a flash flood situation is really developing across the viewing area right now. So let's just, while we're talking about it, let's zoom in to our lone warning as far as severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warnings. Those flash flood warnings are going to go for a couple hours. But it's right in this area where we were tracking that cell. And a while ago, it had a quick touchdown associated with it. But when we look at that, straight as an arrow. And we'll do a loop on that. and see how that is evolving. And yeah, we're just kind of seeing a push of wind associated with that cell. So unless something changes drastically here very shortly, this tornado warning has just about run its course. But you know, that said, in this area, this is some really torrential rain falling from Rufus down to Puckett into parts of Simpson County, Mendenhall, Zion Hill, Merritt, Boggin, where there was a tornado a short time ago, and McGee. You're going to be seeing some very heavy rain pick up there, and further to the south, New Hebron, very heavy rain. And once that wave moves out, you have this next rain, and look here. It has made significant progress, now pushing across Interstate 55 east of Hazelhurst, Crystal Springs, Gallman, and coming right in through Wesson right now. So this line has made some really decent progress and is shifting to the east of I-55. And then further to the south here, we have the line coming up close to Brookhaven, but it's not a severe line, but it is going to exacerbate the threat of flash flooding in these areas where you see the green polygons, which include Macomb, which include Brookhaven, over towards Monticello. These are all flash flood warning areas, and a lot of these areas have picked up some significant rains just since the storms picked up late this afternoon and have continued right on through the evening. And it is going to rain probably till midnight or so down in these areas, because the back edge of the rain itself is just getting to the Mississippi River as it approaches these areas. So really some good signs as far as the threat of severe weather in the viewing area right now is just seeing a really large area of heavy rain taking over the area, and this is going to limit the severe threat. And quite honestly, with such a widespread area of heavy rain, anything that would develop would be like these cells we've seen here. It would just be a quick spin up. We really only saw maybe a tornado on the ground for 1 or 2 scans, which means it was on the ground for only maybe 4 or 5 minutes. And we just happened to pick it up. So just quick spin-ups still going to be possible in the far eastern part of the viewing area associated with that. Let's get, Christina, can you give us just one more update on some of these rainfall totals with these flash flood warnings to kind of wrap up some of the coverage that we have going on? She's over at the big board, and look at these totals. They've been impressive. As I said, at my house, I had 2/3 of an inch of rain so far when I checked a short time ago, but heavy rain's coming into the metro area now.
Yeah, and you're not done yet either, David. I mean, you're probably going to get at least 1 inch of rain maybe by the end of this. Now, region-wide, we're getting anywhere, or we've seen anywhere between about 1/2 inch to, I mean, almost 4 inches, if not reaching 4 inches of rain. And those rainfall totals are in that flash flood warning from Brookhaven down towards Macomb and into Lawrence County. Jackson itself, again, this is an estimation. This is not exact measurements right now, but over in downtown Jackson, after kind of pixel querying some of this, just about, if not slightly over 3/4 of an inch. And again, the rain is not done just yet. Let's zoom on in down into South Mississippi. Again, this is where those flash flood warnings are. I'm going to step out real quick, clear out this box, so you can see some of those rainfall totals a little bit better. But again, 3 inches of rain up to 4 inches of rain in western Lawrence County, Pike, Walthall County, anywhere between 1.5 to 3 inches of rain. So we did have that one report down in South Mississippi over into Pike County, where we did have a couple of trees fall down over onto the roadways. So again, it's not really a lot of damage that we've seen, but when you have that saturated soil, we are expecting to see a couple of trees tumble on down. So I mean, David, lots of rainfall in such a short amount of time. A little bit longer when it comes to the rain, but thankfully that severe threat kind of going on the downward trend.
Round a sponge, all right? No tornado warnings now. This tornado warning has expired, and just looking at all the velocity, there is no threat, at least in the very near term, of anything spinning up, and it looks like the threat is diminishing. Of course, we're watching it, and for now, we throw it to ABC, and for our Me TV viewers, I'm throwing it over to Troy Johnson at the anchor desk.